How does the brain function? Let's look at a few of the daily activities I perform to find out. Every day after school, I go to basketball practice. One of the main things involved with basketball is dribbling the ball. Dribbling requires lots of different areas of the brain to work together. The frontal lobe plays the largest part because it's responsible for muscle movements, motor skills, and other coordinated movements needed to move my body and actually dribble the ball. The cerebellum works alongside the frontal lobe to regulate coordination and balance and allows me to be stable and strong while dribbling. All of this information for basketball is stored in the lobes of my brain. Now, how does my brain make the rest of my body perform the task at hand? Well, the brain is connected to the brain stem, which controls the flow of messages between the brain and the rest of the body. The brain stem also consists of the midbrain, pons, and medulla oblongata. The midbrain serves important functions in motor movement. The pons contains nuclei that relay signals to the cerebellum, and it's also responsible for completing everyday functions needed to stay alive. And the medulla oblongata completes all involuntary functions in the body like sneezing and coughing. In both the pons and medulla oblongata, there's the respiratory and cardiac centers that are responsible for keeping our heart beating and our lungs breathing. All of this is connected to the next major brain structure called the diencephalon. This is where you find the thalamus and hypothalamus, which regulate things like homeostasis and alertness inside the body. This is also referred to as the reptilian brain. All of this is connected to the spinal cord, which is connected to single nerve cells called sensory and motory nerves, or cranial nerves. The messages from the lobes travel across the corpus callosum, which is the portion of the brain connecting cerebral hemispheres, allowing messages to travel between the left and right sides, down to the brainstem, to the spinal cord, and finally to the motory and sensory nerves that create the impulses and tell our body to perform a certain movement. While dribbling a basketball, my accessory motory nerve number 11 is used. The next thing I do every day is listen to music in my car. When listening to music, my temporal lobe is used because that's where auditory memories and music is stored in the brain. In order to listen to and comprehend the music, my brain goes through the same process that was previously described earlier in this video. The message from my temporal lobe travels to my brainstem, to my spinal cord, and then finally to my cranial nerves, which will cause an impulse and allow me to hear and understand the music I'm listening to. When listening to music, the vestibulocochlear sensory nerve number 8 is used. My third and final activity I participate in is math class. When I'm in math class, my parietal lobe is used because that's where some comprehension, reading, and visual functions are located in the brain. I also use my occipital lobe during math class because that's where reading and vision functions are located in the brain. I need both of these lobes to see, read, and comprehend a math problem. In order to use these functions again, my parietal and occipital lobes send a message to my brainstem, to my spinal cord, and then to my cranial nerves, which will cause an impulse and allow me to see, read, and comprehend a math problem. When I'm working on math problems, my optic number 2, oculomotor number 3, abducens number 6, and trochlear number 4 cranial nerves are used. The cranial nerves I've mentioned are only a few. There is also the hypoglossal number 12, olfactory number 1, vagus number 10, glossopharyngeal number 9, trigeminal number 5, and facial number 7 cranial nerves. All of the lobes I've mentioned come together to form the cerebrum.